had a dream last night. It was a very good dream. It was a dream of every single last thing in my life that potentially could have gone right for me, but it didn't. I could have capitalized, but I couldn't. I would have made into something beneficial for me and maybe even another person, but I chickened out. I had a dream of everything that I regretted over my life, but decided, you know what? In the dream, I'm gonna make everything great. I'm gonna make everything great. I was so encapsulated in the dream, I didn't even realize it was a dream. When you have those dreams so good, so real, even though you consciously know this person shouldn't be here anymore, that person shouldn't be here anymore, this situation already happened, this situation didn't go down this way, you just encapsulated in it because this is the way you wanted it to go. This is the way you believe that it should go. Pisces, Neptune, dreams, illusions. And when you think about dreams and you think about illusions, you think about what do you want? You think about what can there be? Dreams can be good. The opposite of your dreams, nightmares, can be bad. What you fear, what you dread to happen. But I'm not talking about nightmares here today, but they can be brought up in the conversation. When you have a dream that you can capitalize on, and right before you get to the best part of the dream, you wake up. Right when you get to the best part of the experience, you wake up and you are sore that you didn't get to finish the experience. You are sore that you didn't get to finish your dream. And I woke up from my dream and I wondered why. Why is that? Why was everything in my dream, everything that I don't currently have, everything that I currently lack in my life, that I wanted? And when I woke up, I was feeling a deep pain, a deep pain, a deep resentment, pain, Capricorn, Pluto, resentment in my heart, which is Virgo's sixth house, that I didn't get to have any of the things outlined or I had outlined in my dream, or that I had chickened out at one point, or just let it pass me by because I wasn't proactive enough. Then I immediately got to think, since Capricorn is Virgo's fifth house, and fifth house is the heart, these had things all to do with love experiences in my life. This dream was basically made of love experiences that went south, that I didn't get to take to the full potential that I believed I could have gotten them to. I woke up in a hissy fit. I didn't scream, didn't cry per se, just woke up sour. That the world I woke up to was not the world of my dreams. The world I believed I should be in wasn't the reality that I really set in. Pisces, Neptune is dreams. 180 degrees away, the opposite zodiac sign from Pisces is Virgo, reality, correctness, accuracy. My dreams were opposite, were not accurate to my life. My dreams were against my reality, so it hurt, and it hurt bad. When I realize I am in a situation that I cannot beat, or I must continue to train and hope that I can get out of, I don't take out my anger on other people. I don't take out my anger by destroying things. I don't even necessarily take out the anger on myself. My body's in good shape, relatively. But do you know who I do start blaming? God. I start blaming God. Virgo's 12th house is Leo. Leo is love. Leo is children. Leo is the head man. Leo is God. So when I was having a dream, of course, since I am a Virgo rising, I had a dream, Pisces, 12th house. I was having a dream about love. Currently, the planet of Pluto is in Capricorn. Virgo's 5th house, which is the natural ruler of Leo, is Capricorn. So right now, in the transiting sky, Pluto is in Capricorn. And for Virgos, that is your 5th house. For Virgos, Capricorn being your 5th house, love is painful, Capricorn. Love is structured, Capricorn. Love can deconstruct you too, Capricorn. Love is lacking, poverty. All of that is indicated by Capricorn. And having Pluto, the planet of birth, sex, death, hate, resentment, any form of life regeneration, life transference in the sign of Capricorn means when I had my dream, 12th house, Leo, about love, my 5th house, Capricorn, when I woke up from that dream, made me realize how painful it was that I did not have anything in that dream. And because Pluto was there, I had resentment. I hated my experience. Virgo in your 1st house, your physical experience, the world around you, how you're going to react and so on. I hated that I woke up in a world that was not in line with, congruent to my dream. I woke up in a world opposite of my dream, reality, where none of those things in the dream came true. None of those things in those dreams happened the way I wanted it to. So like I told you, when I'm scared, Pisces. When I fear, Pisces, I start to blame God. And why shouldn't I? Nothing physical is going to happen to me if I blame God, right? I didn't hurt nobody. Therefore, nothing bad could physically happen to me. I didn't hurt myself physically. Therefore, I maintained my health. But when somebody's feeling pain, you're going to try to cast blame. You're going to try to exercise away that pain, away from yourself, to make yourself feel better. It is natural that humans do that. Who did I cast that hate upon when I was not given the life that I wanted to live? Even though I tried my hardest throughout to be the best person I could be, God. I always go back to blame God. And it made me think in that moment when I woke up from the dream. We are taught, we are told to believe through modern culture God is not your enemy, God is your friend. We are taught and led to believe in modern culture. We are taught and led to believe that God only wants the best for us. We're taught in all of our books, all of the books they want us to read, that all problems we have are caused by us. But if you study astrology, if you study the universe around you, your experience, your natural life, even if you study the books and listen to the culture that is currently here today, it was all inspired by the astrology of our ancient ancestors before us. It was. It's even written in the first chapters of your books that it was astrology that they based everything that we have today off of. And if you study astrology, you come to see life, everything has been predicted beforehand. What you can call a God, if there truly is one, made it so that everything that is happening in the heavens above is directly correlated, parallel, happening at the same time. Is everything happening here on earth, as they say, on earth as it is in heaven? Or as above, so below? It all comes from the same place. It came from us, humans, realizing the connection between the world out of us, the world in us, and how they are one and the same. So that got me to realize bad things do happen to people. But do all people deserve to have bad things happen to them? There's a baby fresh out of the womb, born to an abusive father and a drug induced mother, necessarily deserve to have a bad life? Because growing up in that household as a small child, this is an example, of course, you cannot expect that child to have the same kind of proper, peaceful upbringing as a stable family structure in a middle income to high income class household with both quote unquote functioning parents. You cannot expect that child to grow up and have the same disposition, same out view on look on life, same sort of manner of speech, level of aggression, level of common sense if they grow up in that household versus somebody who can grow up to be a quote unquote functioning member of society. Was that the baby's fault? Was that the child's fault that the child was even born? Nobody's going to answer that question yes. No matter what your opinion is, nobody was going to answer that question yes. But if you were to look at that baby's birth chart, from the moment of that baby's first breath or their breath of life, it was already predicted in their chart. They would have an abusive father, they would have a drug induced mother, and they would grow up to be the person that they're going to be. Astrology tells us this. Astrology shows us this without fault every single time. You don't even need to see the child per se. You can look at the birth chart of the mother. You can look at the birth chart of the father and see what kind of children they were going to have, what kind of experiences their children were going to have. And this can go all the way back to the family tree. All of it was predicted beforehand. All of it was written beforehand. So how much control do you really have? How much control do we really have? How much does God really want us to have a free will based experience? Answer is he doesn't. He doesn't. Just because you may personally know or do not know how to read a chart, how oxygen may work, how to grow a tree, how does the world go from daytime to nighttime, doesn't mean that it's going to stop happening. Just because you don't want to believe in something doesn't believe, or in better words, mean that it's not going to happen. It will happen regardless of what you say or what you think. And you must be willing to swallow that pill. So, with that now in mind, can we now beg this question? Can this natural universe, or if you want to call it at this point God and use that as a synonym word, you can. I'll allow that for the sake of this argument. Can this God now allow for lives to be better than others? Can in this 21st century world that we live in, can there be quote unquote placements? Can there be quote unquote signs? Can there be quote unquote aspects that will predict a better life than others? Society is set up in a certain way or fashion. You cannot do whatever you want in society. And if you try to, rules will be asked upon you. You cannot make the claim that any person in this society says every little last thing is perfect whatsoever. You cannot find now one person across the world that will say from the start of their life to the end of their life, every little thing went their way. You will never find it. You will never find that person that will say that. You will never say that. You will have days that are better than others. You will have an experience that you can compare to somebody else's. And you will have times where you realize your life may not just be as good as someone else's. But this is what society throws into the mix. Keep trying. Keep your head up. Things will go better for you. You got to be another way. But every time it doesn't get better, every time another crime gets committed, every time that any of these other things happen, you run back to your politics, you run back to your government, you run back to your churches, and you ask for your head man, your leader, your God, Leo, the person you believe in my case, 12th house. You run back to that person. This is me viewing society from my perspective, and I'm speaking. You run back to your society, and you ask them, and you ask your leader, make the world better. We're going to rely on you to make the world better. That's how society is built. Something bad happens, you may rally, you may sign a petition, you may probably cast a vote, you may participate in some things for recovery, and you go to bed feeling that what you did actually helped the world. But when the next bad thing happens, what's the point? I guess we gotta go back to it again. Guess we gotta rally again. Guess we gotta go back to asking for a new leader, voting for a new leader, going back to another prayer service. Because when things go right, nobody wants to bat an eye. You're praising, worshiping, celebrating when things go right. But when things go wrong, per se, you're not trained to be a critic. You're not trained to question why it didn't work this time. You're not trained to go against what is being told for you to do after you've seen time and time again it's not consistent. You are told in life to only count your wins, per se, or count the good things that happen in your life. But guess what? People, it is proven that people tend to remember the bad things about a person far more easily than they do the good things. It doesn't matter how charitable a person may be, as soon as they do one act of crime, one heinous act of crime for any reason, they are now defined by that act. It doesn't matter how many leaders we may have had in history that people, quote unquote, were once praising as a good person. As soon as one negative piece of information they may have done to their wife, they may have done to a child, they may have done to another person, a murder they may have committed, a crime they may have covered up, an embezzlement that may have happened, they get now defined by that crime, whether or not it is proven that they actually did it. It does not matter if the number of good things numbers 99. If they have one even semi heinous crime, that is now an imprint on their life. We are trained in society to expect everyone to be perfect, even though none of us has ever hit that margin in our lives. We are trained in this society to expect perfection out of our leaders, out of our churches, out of our everything. But when time and time and time and time and time and time and time again, since the dawn of man, to be precise, we have proven there is no such thing as perfection because no one has ever attained it. We have not decided to evolve and say, you know what, let's change the standards a bit. You know what, let's make it a more fair playing ground for everyone else around us and everyone else in our field, in our circles. Let's make it more fair for everyone. No, especially in the 21st century, no, we don't do that. We don't do that at all. In fact, this is what we do. We decide, let's outcast the person, give judgment on that person, elect somebody new, and basically just hope that they will be the new perfect one. And as soon as they're done being perfect, toss them to the side, get in somebody new, toss them to the side, get somebody new, toss them to the side. We like our routines that don't work. And we like to believe that our system is perfect, even though we know that our lives have not been perfect. We like to believe that our system cannot fail, even though It is in its routine to fail. We like to deny the facts of the matter because it's hard. We have to put in work to get things right. And people don't like to work so damn much. People don't like to work so damn much. You see, we are now in the age of Aquarius. Uranus rules Aquarius. Aquarius is rebellious, artificial, weird, odd, mechanical, space, the sky, outer space. It is everything above us. It is calamities, catastrophes. We do for a fact live in a weird age. We do. Where anything seems to go. Things that have been set up and structured to be the natural way, societal way, culturally right and standard ways of living has been casted to the side for a life where humanity, which is also Aquarius, to make their own rules, to go against natural law, for humanity to decide the course of nature with our technologies, with our inventions, with our own actions. Because that is Aquarius also, humanity. We are the forerunners of this time period that we live in within the equinox. And funny enough, astrology, astrology is also ruled by Aquarius. So it's not like I am outside of this system myself. I never said I was. I am far within this system, just like you. No matter who you are or why you're watching, whether you are for me, you are against me, majority of people, if not everybody, is dictated by the age that we live in and will have an effect on you. I already told you I am a Virgo rising. Pluto rules the eighth house. And if you remember what I told you, Pluto is death, Pluto is life, Pluto is sex, Pluto is obsession, Pluto is hate, Pluto is others' possessions, Pluto is resentment, Pluto is funerary services. Pluto has everything to do with life transference. And above all, which one is an important one to me, Pluto is power. Pluto is power. Why do I bring this up? Aquarius's eighth house, the eighth house of Aquarius, is Virgo. This is why I bring up the question, and this is why I brought up the question earlier. Some people will have better lives than others. You cannot control how life will affect you. It's already written how your life will be. But in this life, in this time, in this society, in the society that we live in currently, we have constructed a life for us to currently live in, constructed a life for us to currently have. And for a Virgo, which is supposed to be about accuracy, correctness, meticulousness, I find this world very odd. I find this world very, very strange. To me, in a majority of Virgos, this world is just strange. And in a Virgo's chart, Aquarius is the sixth house, the house of work. Virgo is work. We are natural workers. We love to work. We just work. And what do we work on? Aquarius. We have to work just to be considered a proper member of society. We have to work just to be accepted in this society. And that should bring up in a very important question, because it adds to my point. Depending on what sign you are in the zodiac chart, you will make an aspect of some number of degrees, minimum 30, maximum 330 degrees away from Aquarius. No, minimum 0 to maximum 360 degrees to be exact, away from Aquarius. You might be in Aquarius yourself, anywhere between the first 30 degrees, 0 to 29. Or you can go 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 200, 150, 180, 210, 240, 270, 300, 330 degrees away from Aquarius. Back another 30 degrees into the sign of Aquarius. And depending on your aspect, depending on your planetary alignments, will determine how this life will affect you. Aquarians, if you have your sun sign in Aquarius, this will affect you. And if you also have your rising, which most people don't accurately know, but if you have your rising sign in Aquarius, Virgo is your eighth house. You could either hate Virgos, which I can tell you from society, I have experienced hate from society as a whole. Because remember, we are in the age of Aquarius. So the foundations of how society will move will be more of an Aquarian sense. We do live in an age of technology. We do live in an age of advancements. We do live in an age of rebellions. We do live in an age of odd weirdness, quote unquote, new things coming out that is against what has been accepted in society across history and time. I could say I have experienced hate from society throughout my life, but I've also experienced obsession. I currently have been obsessed in my own life with trying to understand and be a part of this world. And I've also found that in certain situations, people have been obsessed with trying to figure me out, trying to figure out why I am the way that I am. And if they could not, couldn't, they grow resentment towards me, resentful towards me. It doesn't matter if I did them wrong or not, just through the interaction. After that first initial, let me get to know this person, it automatically turns into a form of, I don't want to speak to you. I resent you in some way, shape, or form. And I always wondered why. Because you see, the people in society who currently have good aspects to Aquarius, whether an air sign, or you may be a fire sign per se, except for Leo. We can go either way with Leo because it is its opposite sign. There tends to be, in general terms, ways for people to become confused for why life is going the way that it is for them. Again, if life is going beneficial for you, you're not going to say anything. You're not going to question why. But if you're someone who's considered themselves an outcast, somebody that's considered themselves, for example, a loser, somebody that considers themselves to be questioning why life, why society has turned out the way it is for them. Some people will go their entire life and not get the answer. Some people have to quote unquote go to therapy. Some people quote unquote have to go into self-help books. Some people quote unquote might do damaging things to themselves because no matter what they try, they cannot seem to correlate with society. They cannot seem to correlate with life as they know it. They can't. And some people will go out their way to hurt themselves. If not hurt themselves, go out their way to hurt others. And people who don't have life, for example, as badly stricken for them, who don't have life as badly stricken for them, just write it off as another crazy person. Write it off as another tragedy in life. Write it off as another, this is the problem of X, Y, and Z. It's because these people didn't do their job. X, Y, and Z happened. Nobody really takes the time to put in the work, Virgo, to figure out, to figure out what is the actual problem. What is the actual problem? What is the actual problem with these people? And everybody has an eighth house, a house of death, life, birth, regeneration, decay, regeneration, transformation, all of that. Virgo's eighth house is Aries. Aries naturally are going to try to have an obsession with being more active, with being more aggressive. That does not mean they will be aggressive. Aggression can kill them, per se. A death of an Aquarius will be their guts. If you are a natural born Aquarius, your cause of death at the end of your life, whenever that may be, will have something to do directly with your gut. Gut failure that leads to death in your body. For an Aries, that's Scorpio, which is going to be death regarding to your sexual organs. You may catch a disease of some sort, and you will die by that disease eventually. But for a Virgo, having Aries as their eighth house, Aries is the blood, Aries is the brain. Most Virgos die by some sort of brain activity, shutdown of the brain, blood circulation to the brain stops because Aries is the head. So anger, too much anger in a Virgo can kill them. But at the same time, Virgo can be obsessed. Virgo can be obsessed with being more active because activity is Aries. Being more aggressive in their work, being more approaching, starting things more instead of being passive, letting somebody else do it, or taking their time and letting things play out. We have an obsession with being more active because it can be beneficial towards us when you be more active. But until society as a whole learns how to use their obsession with being right, accurate, Virgo, everybody believes they're right. Everybody believes they're right. Everybody believes in this modern day society, my side is right, therefore your side must be wrong. But nobody is willing to put in the work, Virgo. Nobody's willing to put in the work. Therefore, they may resent the work. Virgos, for example, may resent being aggressive, but you must channel your aggression, channel it, work on being more active, work on starting more things. This is going to give you the ability to turn death into life. Something can be birthed from this. Your cells can now regenerate, your brain cells can regenerate. Because I told you, all types of life transference is 8th house, Pluto. You can regenerate if you learn how to master your 8th house. And at the same time, in terms of society, if society can learn to put in the work, if society can learn to not just assume accuracy, but work to understand is the knowledge that they say that they have, because knowledge is also Aquarius. If they work to make sure their knowledge is actually accurate, it will birth something new. It will birth a new way of seeing the world, birth a new way for this world to be. It will birth a generation of accurate people, humble people. No more unnecessarily cause violence. Nobody will have unnecessarily caused riots. And this can apply to everybody in their chart. I've talked about Aries, but I'll talk about Aries again and go down the chart. Aries, your 8th house is Scorpio. You have to work on life regeneration. You must work on birth. You must born something new. You have to stop being worried about death or resenting death or resenting birth in that instance. If that is what is plaguing you. You need to work on power, working on your power, because you can birth a new power into your life. You start working on it versus resenting giving life to something new or resenting death in itself. Taurus, your 8th house is going to be Sagittarius. Going to be Sagittarius. Taurus, you need to give birth to travel. You must learn to travel more. You must learn to educate yourself more. Do not hate traveling. Do not hate foreigners. Do not resent education. Do not resent seeking a higher form of knowledge and expressing yourself. Taurus, do not resent it. Do not resent laughter. Do not resent joy, happiness, luck. You can be stubborn, Taurus, but you must learn to realize there is more to learn. There is more than what you initially see. Gemini, your eighth house is Capricorn. Gemini, you must learn to not hate pain. This applies for me too, for I have a sun in Gemini. Gemini, you must learn to not resent pain. You must learn to not resent lack in your life. You must learn to not resent discipline. Geminis love to be all over the place. They hate having to sit down, take their time, because that is Capricorn too. Capricorn is time. Geminis, from personal experience, you must learn to not resent taking your time to work on something, to get it done. You must learn not to resent that. It will do well for you. And you can birth a new business. You can be a birth of a boss. You can become a boss, Gemini. That is Capricorn, the boss. Cancer, your eighth house is going to be Aquarius. Cancer, you must not resent odd. You must not resent weird. You must not resent anything that is, quote unquote, against what you personally see or believe. You must not resent it. You must not resent rebellion. Cancer is all about the home and protection and structure. They do not like anything coming into their home, wanting to change things up, destroying the value. You must not resent that. Because Cancer, what is in store for you? You can birth genius. You can birth knowledge. You can come to know things. Cancer, you don't have to be 100% intuitive, instinctual all the time. There is benefits to having knowledge. Cancer, there is benefit to it. Leo, your eighth house is Pisces. You must not resent fear. Leo, what is your adage? The lion in the Wizard of Oz was brave because he was scared. He had courage because he was scared and he wasn't against his fears. You must learn to not be scared of your fear. You must learn to not be scared of your fear. You must learn to not be scared of ignorance because it is in store for you. You can birth belief. You can birth belief into your life. Belief, higher seeing of what is beyond this world. Something that is truly onto you and onto you alone, your beliefs. To have faith in somebody else. To realize not everybody needs to just have faith in you, Leo. You can now have faith in something else yourself. Virgo, Virgo, your eighth house is Aries. Virgo, you must not be afraid to be aggressive. You must not be afraid to show your hand. You must not be afraid to take action towards something that you want in your life. You must not be afraid to take action. Virgo, you are going to be the start of something new. You will birth a new start, a new beginning. Because that is Aries, the start. You will learn how to birth a new start to something. You will start something new, Virgo. But you must learn how to not resent over aggression, not resent starting new in your case, which will allow you to be more active towards the things that you want. Libra, your eighth house is Taurus. Libra, you are all about balance, harmony, beauty. But Libra, you must not resent what is considered valuable. You want everything to be at balance. You want everything to be harmonized, but you must realize some things carry more value than others. Some things can provide more than others. You must realize you must have a value, and you must stop resenting money. You must stop resenting the economy. You must stop resenting capitalism. You must stop resenting any type of commerce and how quote unquote unfair it may be. You must learn to trust in money so you can give birth to providence, because that is Taurus. Providence, to provide. You have the ability to provide to a large amount of people, Libra. But you gotta stop hating how money works. Scorpio, Scorpio, your eighth house is Gemini. Scorpio, you're all about power. You're all about, you have the power to do this. You have a will, therefore there is a way to get what you want. You must not resent the mind. You must not hate messages. You must not hate. You must learn to not hate people revealing things that you did not want them to know. You must not hate people sending out messages that may let them know what you are doing that may quote unquote hinder your power. You must learn not to hate that, Scorpio, because you will come to realize that you have the ability to birth intelligence, birth your mind, a higher mind. You have the ability to think like no other. You will have that ability, but you must allow messages and ideas and words of all kinds in your benefit or against your benefit to be. Next, we have Sagittarius. Your eighth house is Cancer. Sagittarius, you're all about education. You're all about higher philosophy. You're all about travel, but you must not resent the home life. You must not resent protection. You must not resent where you come from, Sagittarius. You must not resent your home, because you will learn to birth instincts. You will learn to birth something that cannot necessarily be explained by knowledge, a gut feeling, a just understanding of things that can happen around you that does not necessarily have to be birthed alone by your philosophy, Sagittarius. You must learn to trust the women in your life too. Do not resent them or hate them, per se. Next, you have Capricorn. Your fifth house is Leo. Capricorns are all about business. They are all about how life was hard for them. They are rigid. They know what they want. They know their goals. They're all about their achievements in their life. Capricorn, you must not hate the idea of love. You must not hate the idea of a leader, someone that will have authority even over you. You must not resent the fact that there is somebody that can even tell you what to do. You must not resent children, because you can give birth to that love. You can give birth to that higher feeling. The core of every person. Love, Capricorn. You have the ability to do that. Next we have Aquarius. Aquarius. Your eighth house is Virgo. Virgo. Aquarius. If you truly want to be right, you must not resent putting in the work. You must not resent putting in the work. You must be willing to work. You must be willing to be real with how things are going on. Not every piece of knowledge you have per se is accurate. But if you are willing to put in that work, you can birth true accuracy, because you know what you're doing. And if you do it right and you work on what you know, you for a fact can become accurate. And finally, we have Pisces. Pisces, your eighth house is Libra. Pisces, you are all about faith, belief. You can see things that other people cannot see. You have a disposition towards the world that other people cannot achieve. But you must realize there is a balance. There's harmony in beauty in understanding this world. You cannot resent beauty. You cannot resent balance. You cannot hate the law, Pisces. Because once you come to understand the law and utilize it in your favor, you will birth true beauty, Pisces. The world is such a more beautiful place once you come to understand the law around you. All the signs have an eighth house, and that eighth house does not have to be hate. It does not have to be resentment. It does not have to be death. It can be birth of a new life. This is what I've come to get you to see. Have some people's lives worse than others? It can be. But it's only up to you to make it better, to the extent that it can be made better. To the extent that it can be made better. And these talks are not only a way for me to feel better, is to come to understand no matter quote unquote what cards you were dealt in this reality or why you were specifically dealt the cards in this reality, there's no need to even know that answer. There are specific benefits that you and only you will get in this reality, and no one else will. And the more you've come to accept the reality that you're into, take the age that you live in and find that piece of that age that will define you, make you come to understand the world around you, you can do better for it. Those who don't know, quote unquote, those who have imperfect lives, quote unquote, it was all written. This world just is. This world is. We want it to be the way we want it to be, but we must understand we already live in an era that is odd, weird, unnatural, per se. So who is to say our current preferences that we have come to adapt to be what we want is truly what we need? For those who will see, you will see. And if you can help and inspire somebody in any other way, I hope you do. No matter how hard my life may be, from now to the moment to the day I die, I can't do anything about it. I can only find out what my chart says I can do and try to run for to get as much as I can out of it. That is what I will continue to do. That is why I continue to make these talks. As much as they can help you, whether nobody sees it or not, they help me. They keep me going another day. They give me, Pisces, faith, hope. That I can become a leader one day. That I can lead something one day. That I can truly, truly find out what I am personally here to do and be in line with that consciously to the best of my ability. So at the end of my days, I will be able to look back and say, overall, through the journey, I don't regret that I went through it. I don't want to have to say at the end of my journey, this was a hell that I lived. This was just an experience that I happened to be karmically put into 12th house, Pisces, Neptune, to just be better for somebody else, to just have an experience for somebody else. And I was just nothing but a linchpin for someone else's life. No, I have my own life. And I will do good not only to me, but to others in it. And it will continue to hurt until I realize I cannot resent pain. Gemini, until I realize I cannot resent pain. Cannot resent it. It makes you stronger. The pain makes me stronger. The pain is the reason why I can make these videos. It's the pain. Activity. I had to get up and make this video. That's what makes me a boss. And that's what makes me an active boss. And this, for a fact, is the start of something. Because this is what I came here to do. This is what I came here to do. This is it. 100 Agency. I will catch y'all next time.